This is problem number 4 from the practice test. This is difficult because I've got two functions, each being raised to a power. So this is like f of x squared. This is like g of x cubed. So when I find the derivative of this, what rule do I need to use when I find the derivative? The product rule, right? So when I take the product rule, we think of this part as my left function and the other part as my right function. So the derivative, I shouldn't really say dy dx, but when I take the derivative of both sides, or what am I saying? There's only one side. So I take the derivative of this. Use the chain rule. So what's the derivative of f of x squared?
2f.
So it's going to be 2 times f of x times, right, f prime of x. Right, that's the tricky part. So you got something squared. So it's 2 times that something to the first power, that's your power rule, times the derivative of that something on the inside, so that's f prime of x, times g cubed of x, plus. So that's the first half of the power rule, where 2fx, that's, 2fx f prime of x, that's L prime of x. And this part is my R of x. Okay, plus the derivative of g cubed x. So what's that going to give me? 3g squared of x times g prime of x times
f
squared of x. It is a little ambiguous because sometimes we use these numbers as derivatives and sometimes as powers. So if that got you confused, I apologize. But I mean them as powers now. If you're confused on the test, you can go ahead and ask. This is r prime of x, and this is L of x. Okay, now I still haven't actually answered the question yet. We need to evaluate when x is equal to what? 0. Right, so we only care about when x equals 0. You don't actually have to write this step out, or maybe when you guys write it out, so I'm just going to replace x with 0. Maybe you guys just write this thing in black the first time, and that's okay. I don't really care how much work you're showing. Okay. Work, please. All right, sweet. Okay, so if you want to jump right to the black line and just plug your zeros in right away, I mean, that's okay. It doesn't matter, as long as you get the right answer. And now we start plugging things in. I look at the chart that's above the smartboard. So what's f at 0? Yeah, I think it's -1. F prime at 0 is -2. G at 0 is -3, so it's going to be -3 all cubed. Right? Plus 3. G at 0 is -3 squared. I think, is that right? Yeah. G prime of 0 is what? 4. And what's f at 0 again? So -1 squared. So multiplying this out, negative times a negative is a positive, so that's going to be 4 times a -27. So 4 times -27 plus, all my negatives go away because there's an even exponent. So 27 times 4, hey, that's 0, right? I mean, you could, if you want, you can write -108 plus 108. But once you have 4 times -27 plus 27 times 4, it's pretty obvious that they're opposites. And there's your answer. Okay, so looking at the whole problem, does anybody have any questions with how the chain rule worked here? All right, I mean, this is probably the hardest problem on the first page. So hope that makes sense. We're good? All right. So, John, good?
Got it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that too. Camera, turn off.
Yep.
Aye. Okay, sweet.